So the next song is "Some Kind of Love," which is like, well, like where I think that's the first song where we hear Lou Reed himself.
Yeah, I
Ex.
think I think What Goes On was Lou Reed as well. I know Candy Says is sang by what's his name, like Yule or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I read that.
yeah.
You
I
some
think What Goes On was Lou Reed as well, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Some Kind of Love is also, I
some
think,
kind
Lou
of love is definitely Lou Reed.
Reed.
You it's Lou Reed is, his voice is very encapsulating, right? Like, he's saying his words himself, and he's saying it in the right tone.
Sometimes he's talking more of singing, and
Yeah,
it's almost like a sort of a voice acting sort of analogy where like it's not just about hitting the right tunes and the melody, but it's also about how you express
yeah.
the words, which I think is
So in like Some Kind of Love, he is exploring the endless possibilities of love using his
yeah.
words. And
So I found this online. Apparently, he. I mean, it's a simple song, and then even he introduced it in a live show as like the song is called "Some Kind of Love." It's a dialogue between a guy named Tom and a woman named Margarita,
yeah,
if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But he's just trying to drink her like tequila, and she doesn't like being salt thrown over her shoulder. That's what the song's about. But it's essentially just a conversation between like he just met some girl at a bar, and then she's just telling him about like never, always take your chances
yeah. So
with
I guess
love,
I
like
guess
never let any
he
type
is,
of love pass you by.
I guess he is representing Tom in the song. Like, Margarita tells Tom.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he says both, right? Because I think the lyrics he's like Margarita says, and then it's like Tom says,
Yeah.
and then he sort of sings what they say. But it's very much, and the lyrics are very philosophical, and I guess going into the overanalyzing part of this, like a lot of the more philosophical texts, like if you go back to like Plato or even like religious texts, they're generally a dialogue. So like you generally have sometimes like a mentor mentee sort of situation where the person asks them, but what about this? And then they give it some wise answer, and then it's like, but what about this? So a lot of religious texts and philosophical texts, I shall say, are sort of a dialogue.
Hmm.
And at that level, I think this song feels like that because it has a lot of, again, like philosophy. There's that line, between thought and expression lies a lifetime. So there's a lot of like philosophical ideas coming through. At the same time, it is just about different types of love, and always, always taking a chance for love, for a relationship. But and
There's
if it
like,
ends, you move on to the next one. But there's elements of that sort
I
of.
mean, it's the lyrics are like so uh, deep, I think,
Yeah,
where it's like, Margarita tells Tom that some kind of love is like French novels,
yeah,
where you okay, you can understand like the language of love and mixing it together, and then like French novels where you're combining absurd and vulgar, and then
yeah,
you get back, like you get snapped
yeah,
back, and then you're like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's quite deep for a, I think, someone who's getting introduced to probably Velvet Underground over here.
Yeah, it is weirdly enough, it is one of the more sort of optimistic songs. Like
Mhm.